Hi, church family. I'm excited to share with you about our Christmas Eve plans. Christmas Eve is one of my top 2 services all year, and this will be my 25th Christmas Eve candlelight service as your pastor. And from our first service in 1997, when it was about 15 or 20 of us, and truth be told, about 10 of them were my family, and the music was my dad and my grandma and I playing Joy to the World on our harmonicas. We've come a long ways. The Christmas Eve candlelight service has grown through the years to be standing room only, but we've tried to maintain that feel of that very first service by having our night always feel like we're in the living room, gathered around the piano with family. Of course, through the years, our family's gotten much bigger, and if you didn't get here early, it was tough to find a seat because we only had one service. Even though on Sunday we were having 2, Christmas Eve, we would pack everybody in and we'd just make it work. But it was tough to think about inviting guests or community folks because just our church family filled the room. And then COVID. And last year we couldn't have a service. So about 20 of us gathered here in the sanctuary and made a video on Christmas Eve and sent that out so that we could still be part of our annual event. So what will we do for Christmas Eve 2021? Well, we have a couple of hurdles to overcome. First, because we're still under COVID protocol, we can't just jam all into the sanctuary. And the second problem is, and this is a good problem to have, that since we've gone to 3 services, we've grown about 15% over our pre-COVID numbers. And that only includes our Sunday morning in-person attendance, not including many of you who are watching online, either from a distance geographically or because you're still being cautious about public gatherings. So we're left with some decisions. Should we have 3 services for Christmas Eve like we do on Sunday morning? Even with 3 services, just the church family could end up filling the room, and there might not be room to encourage you to invite family and friends to join us. And we think that this is a perfect service to invite anyone and everyone in our life. But how would you decide who attends which service, and how do you equalize the 3? The other thing we talked about is that this service has always been a place where we've gathered as a whole church family, gathered around the music, heard the kids sing, watched the room fill with candlelight as we passed the light of Christ around the room. And we wanted to find a way to be together. So, not only are we having an in-person Christmas Eve, but we are all going to gather in one service. We heard you overwhelmingly tell us how good it was to be together in one service this past Easter at the fairgrounds. So we're going to do it again for Christmas Eve. The Christmas Eve candlelight service will be in the main building of the fairgrounds at 5:30 on Christmas Eve. And just as we did at Easter, we're going to transform the fairgrounds building into a sanctuary. For the church is not a building, the church is the people, and this church is hitting the road. And we're gathering together, and we're going to sing, and we're going to light candles, and we're going to celebrate, all of our voices lifted together, that Christ has come. Like Easter, we're going to ask you to bring your own chairs. That way you can set chairs with a distance that you're comfortable with. And we'll still have a small amount of chairs on site if bringing a chair isn't possible for you. But because the building is so big, there's plenty of room to distance. So those of you who have not yet felt comfortable worshiping with the large group in the sanctuary, let me tell you, there's going to be plenty of room for you to sit where you would like. But there's also plenty of room for all of us to invite friends and family to join us. The other day, Pastor Carly jokingly said, the fairgrounds building feels a little more like a barn than our sanctuary. And she's right. But our barn will have a lot more heat than Jesus' barn. I think it would be amazing if on this 25th anniversary of our Christmas Eve service, it was the largest Christmas Eve candlelight service we've ever had. We are not going to let COVID circumstances or the really good problem of being a church that is growing keep us from gathering all together to celebrate Christ's birth. So join us at 5:30 on Christmas Eve in the Fairgrounds Expo building. Invite a neighbor or a family member. And for 60 minutes of family gathered around the piano, culminating in silent night, as we light candles and share the good news that the light of the world has come. We'll see you on Christmas Eve.